Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm Ross Cessna from Spiritual Phoenix Studios. We are doing the Mystical Development Meetup, and this is just an opportunity for people to come hang out with us every Sunday evening. We will draw a tarot card to pick a topic, then we will go through a series of exercises and ultimately a meditation that will allow us to look at the topic, see how it applies to our personal lives, and then maybe glean some insight about how we can make different choices or kind of where we're at in our own personal journey with those experiences. And this is 100% free. And for anybody watching this video later, there is a discussion afterwards where you can participate and kind of get involved. One other thing before we get started, this is being recorded February 7th. Next week or so, we're going to vote on a book for the book club for the end of March. So if you want to get involved, come next week. And with all of that said, let me shuffle these cards super quick and draw a card. While I'm doing that, the process that we go through and the reason that it's structured the way that it is, I was taught that asana, or like different exercises as it might be called in yoga, are helpful prior to meditating. So these exercises that we're going to do will put us in a more relaxed state and allow us to achieve a state of meditation easier. I'm going to draw our card now. We got 5 of wands. So wands are about creation and desire. 5s are generally about adversity. This is asking you to maybe look at how there's conflicts between what you want and the actions that you're taking. This is asking you to kind of get in right relation and align your desires with your actions. And I don't know how clearly we can see the artwork on the card because of where my computer is positioned, but there's all of these masks swirling around this person. And sometimes our desires are who we think we should be or what we think we should want rather than what's actually best for us. I know that I've suffered the consequences of wanting certain things and then finding out that what I wanted was actually bad for me and the things that I didn't want were actually good for me. I would just ask you as we go through this process to consider how maybe some of the things that you want or some of the things that are creating discomfort for you maybe aren't what's actually best for you, that you're being misguided by desire. And I would leave it at that. And with that said, let's switch the camera and kind of get ready for some different movements. I'm going to take one more sip of my tea before we get started too. All right. So for the first thing we're going to do, it's progressive muscle relaxation. This can help reduce anxiety, relieve insomnia. There's all sorts of good benefits for this. And we're going to start laying down in what would be called shavasana in yoga, where you're just kind of flat on your back, feet apart, arms out. And you're going to start by flexing your heel on whichever foot you want to start with. Breathe in and then breathe out. Bring it down. Breathe in. And don't worry if your movements don't look like mine. You don't have to do this perfect. You don't have to hold it as long. Nobody's watching you. Just find your own pace with it and do your best. Don't push yourself to where any of this hurts. And then we'll do it on the other side. This next one always makes me laugh because I'm still immature in some capacities. We're going to flex our butt cheeks. You're just going to flex and breathe in. And then release and breathe out. And we'll do that 2 more times. The next movement that we're going to do is you're going to breathe in and you're going to pull your stomach in down towards your spine and then breathe out and soften your belly. And we'll do that 2 more times. And while I did not mention it, you do want to be breathing in through your nose if possible and out through your mouth. And for the next exercise, you are going to flex your, make a fist and kind of flex your bicep. So your arm lifts up, let it drop down, breathe out. Flex, breathe in. Release, let it drop down. One more. And we'll do it on the other side now. And before we get too far into this, take note of how your body feels now and kind of how you felt when you came in versus how you're going to feel when you're done. And for the next one, you're going to breathe in and crunch your shoulders up to your ear. Breathe out, bring them back down. Breathe in, crunch up. Breathe out and down. Breathe in, crunch up. Breathe out and down. And this is the last progressive muscle relaxation technique here. We are going to breathe in and scrunch our faces. Lift your head up. Breathe out, relax. Breathe in, scrunch your face. Breathe out, relax. And one more. And this is one move that I do at home. You might not want to do this one, and that's okay. I particularly like it. You're going to make yourself a little ball and just kind of gently rock back and forth on your spine. We'll do it one more time. If that doesn't feel good to you, don't do it and don't hurt yourself. We're going to move into tabletop pose, and anybody who's done yoga probably will know this next series of moves. It's cat and cow. So we're going to breathe in, drop our belly, lift our gaze, breathe out, arch your back, breathe in, and out, and in, and out. Now transition into a nice seated posture like this. Take one of your feet, one of your hands, whichever one you want to start with, and you're going to put them over to the side like this and rotate and kind of flex your foot and your hand just to loosen them up. And then we'll go back the other direction. I know for me, I store tension in weird places, and doing this on a regular basis kind of helps release a lot of that tension. And I just generally feel better when I do this. Do it with the other side now. And come into seated position again. So I actually learned 2 new moves this week. in another class. I want to incorporate them in this just because I got a lot of relief. I have like a lot of middle to upper back pain and like issues with my shoulders. These were super, super helpful for me. So what we're going to do is kind of make your arms like a field goal post or whatever you want to call it. And you're going to breathe in and turn to one side, hold it, breathe out, come back, breathe in, go to the other side, breathe out, come back. We'll do it 2 more times. Breathe in. Come back to center now. And before we do the next one, I just want you to take a breath in and notice how much different that might feel from when you started. Um, and then we're going to do the other exercise here. And again, you're going to make kind of the field goal position, and you're going to breathe in and lean to one side like this. And breathe out, come back up. Breathe in. And just remember, you don't have to go as far as me, or you can go farther than me if it's comfortable. It's working within your own ability. You're better to not push yourself than you are to try to do more than you can comfortably do. I don't want anybody to hurt themselves. We'll do one more on this side. Just sit here again and kind of take a breath in. I learned that in a pranayama class, which is like a breathing exercise class. And I know for me, after doing those two, my lung capacity is increased and how my chest feels is vastly different. And I found such benefit in that I wanted to share it with everybody. Next thing we're going to do is some neck exercises. These are incredibly helpful as well. We're going to start with our head down and breathe out. Breathe in, lift your head up. And out. Breathe in. Head up. Breathe out. Head down. Come back to center. And we're going to breathe in, turn your head to the side. Breathe out. Go back the other way. Breathe in. And out. Now we're going to do some neck circles. I like to start clockwise. You can always start counterclockwise. And for this, just find a nice, even rhythm with your breath. We'll do one more. And then we'll go back the other way. So go the opposite way of whatever you started. And we'll do one more. And the next part of this is an eye exercise. I would suggest that you do this with your eyes closed. I'm doing with my eyes open in case people want to see what I'm talking about. You're going to start by having your eyes lifted up. Breathe in. Breathe out, look down. Breathe in, look up, and out and down. And breathe in, look up, and out and down. Now we're going to go side to side with our eyes. You're going to start with one side, breathe in, and out, move to the other side. Breathe in and out and in and out. Now we'll finish this off with eye circles. Just start in whatever direction feels comfortable with you. I like to start with my eyes up top and go clockwise. And do it on the other side or the other direction. And we're supposed to do that as slow as we can. Because I have a light in front of me, I sometimes move a little bit quicker than I should. And it takes a little bit of practice to get comfortable doing it too. Next thing we're going to do, put one of your feet out in front of you like this. Just kind of lean into it gently. You want to find the right amount of effort where there's a noticeable benefit to it, but where you're not overexerting yourself. That will differ for everybody. And we're just going to hold it and breathe into it for a bit. Sometimes, too, if when you're sitting with your muscles tight like this, if you focus on breathing deeply and then focus on the particular area of the body that you're trying to stretch more so, it seems to help limber it up. Intention can go a long way. And so can mindfulness and directing where your focus is. Next thing you're going to do is put your other foot out in front of you to stabilize you. Put uh, this foot in the crook of your arm here and rock it back and forth gently. This is an area where we can store a lot of tension. Usually, if I'm doing this, I'm pretty good. This week I am. Last week I was really, really tight. Uh, for me, it's an indication of where I'm at with stress. And the more that we do these types of practices and figure out where we're holding stress, we can kind of use it as a guidepost for where our minds are at. And if we're paying attention, we can begin to make choices that might minimize the impact of some of our emotional patterns that are less helpful. I've not figured out how to do it 100% of the time, and I don't know that that's the point. But sometimes a little bit of awareness goes a long way. Do the same thing on this side now. Just kind of breathe into it and relax on in. And the nice thing about these poses is they're accessible to everybody. You don't have to go farther than you need to. And there's always a benefit in doing this type of work. We'll do a couple more seconds here. And then bring it on in. There was actually a couple times this week where I did this a second time at night for myself just to kind of deal with some stress, and it made me realize how helpful having something like this. You can start to kind of rock here. Having something like this memorized or having access to it is, because it can completely reframe where your mind is at. And if you can train yourself to use this as a coping mechanism for stressful situations, You have a distinct advantage over many people because it can really break up your thought patterns if you're having a hard time with something. A couple more times. Normally, I do this like literally as soon as I get out of bed in the morning. Um, bring your feet in front of you like this. But there's also a lot of benefit to doing it right before I go to bed, too, I found, which is weird because I do this at this time of night and I never made the correlation of how helpful it is to do it at night, too. Yeah, and for this, you're just kind of fluttering your legs, whatever feels natural here. And we're going to stand up. I'm going to take a sip of my tea before I do this while it's still warm. And you're going to put your hands on your hips like this. I don't know if this is like the drunken cowboy or the rusty Elvis. I don't know what you want to call it, but you're going to move your hips. Uh, hip circles is what it's called in yoga. I like rusty Elvis though because it's funny. Turn and face like this or whatever is comfortable for you. Y'all might not have mats. Put your hands flat like this, and just for people who this is their first time, when we go forward with any of these following movements, you're going to want to breathe out, and when you pull back, you're going to want to breathe in and lift your toes up. It will make a difference. You don't have to get it all right the first time. Be gentle with yourself and just roll with it, right? So you're going to start hands flat like this. You're going to breathe out, open them up, breathe in, toes up. And when we get to the end of a movement, we do what's called closing it out. And this just kind of helps ground the energy of what we just did. We'll do it now on the other side. And now's a good time while we're in this motion to just kind of touch back on what the card or the topic of the day was. It was Five of Wands. And it was how sometimes your desires can actually be creating problems for you, and that self-awareness can be a tool to help us minimize some of our own suffering. Next thing we're going to do, put one of your hands on bottom, one of your hands on top, and you are going to breathe in and slowly move to the side like this. When you get to the other side, you're going to roll your hands like that. And breathe out. And we'll go back to the other side. And let's close it out. This next one, you're going to, again, take this same posture here. You're going to make a ball of energy with your hands. The more that you do this, you can really begin to feel the ball of energy there. That would be a whole different practice to maybe look into that. And maybe we can do a class on that sometime, the energy work of it. But for now, just focus on the ball being there. And we'll rock forward, breathe out. Rock back, breathe in, toes up. Close it out. close it out. So this next one is the ball of energy again. We're going to start with it here, and you're going to breathe. I always get this mixed up. Breathe out, and then breathe in. Breathe out, and in. And then close it out. For the other side, breathe out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in. Close it out. Now we're going to start with it down on the bottom, and you're going to breathe in and out and in and out and in and out. Close it out. In, out, in, out, in, out. Close it out. We have one more thing to do with the ball of energy. Turn like this. Put one hand on the bottom, one hand on top, and you're going to breathe in and slowly move to the side. And when you get there, rotate your hands, breathe out. And in. And out. And in. And we'll do one more. Close it out. Face the front of your mat. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, hands like this in front of you. And we're going to breathe out, push forward, like you're pushing on a wall. Breathe in, pull back. And close it out. Close it out. For the next one, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, one hand forward, one hand back. And we're going to breathe in, toes up. Breathe out. Close it out. Same thing on the other side. Breathe in. Close it out. This is our last move before we kind of settle in for the meditation. One hand down flat like this, one hand in front of your face. This is called cloud hands. You're going to breathe in and slowly move to the other side. Cross your palms like this. Go back the other direction. And we'll do one more. Now bring your feet together. Put your hands in kind of a prayer pose in front of your heart. Fold your fingers down into a lotus. Hold the lotus out to the universe. Open it up. And then bow. Honor yourself and everybody else for doing that. And we will switch into the meditation. I'm going to take another sip of my tea, though. Okay. So for now, just focus on your breathing. Just breathe natural and bring awareness to your breath. Think of how you notice your breath uniquely. For some of us, we may notice the air on the inhale, how it's cool. For some of us, we may notice the air on the exhale, how it's hot in our nostrils or on our lip. Others of us may notice our stomach fill up with air on the inhale. Others still may notice our breath within the top of our chest. Just find where you notice it in particular and focus on that. And before we get deeper into this, think of how the card, the Five of Wands, relates to you, or in a way that it might relate to you, or how it has related to you in the past. And with that in mind, do one more check to make sure that you're in a comfortable position. And you can be seated, or if it's more comfortable for you to lie down, you can do that as well. Whatever feels best to you. Take one more inhale. And we're going to start a body scan. And we start always on the right side, right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, bicep, armpit, side, hip, thigh, kneecap, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, all toes together, the whole right side, the whole right side, left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm, wrist, forearm, elbow, bicep, armpit, side, hip, thigh, kneecap, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, all toes together, the whole left side of the body, the whole left side of the body. Right buttock, left buttock, lower back, middle back, upper back, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, neck, back of the head, top of the head, forehead, right eye, left eye, nose, lip, teeth, roof of the mouth, tongue, floor of the mouth, chin, jaw, right cheek, left cheek, front of the neck, right collarbone, left collarbone, heart, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, the whole body. The whole body is relaxed. Sit here for a moment. Just listen to the sounds in your room. Don't try to identify them, just hear them. And I want you to take a deep breath in. And then out slowly. And I want you to picture yourself finding a set of stairs leading downwards into the ground. And I want you to slowly walk down the steps, and we will count them, starting from 10, going down to 1. And we're going to breathe in and say 10. And then breathe out and say 10 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 9. Breathe out, say 9 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 8. Breathe out, say 8 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 7. Breathe out, say 7 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 6. Breathe out, say 6 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 5. Breathe out, say 5 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 4. Breathe out, say 4 in your mind. Take one more step down. Breathe in, say 3. Breathe out, say 3 in your mind. Take one more step down, say 2. Breathe in. Breathe out, say 2 in your mind. Breathe in, say 1. Breathe out, say 1 in your mind. Now I want you to look at the door in front of you. Is the door hot? Is it cool? Is it old? Is it new? How does the door look? I want you to reach out and touch the handle of the door now. Is that doorknob cool? Is the doorknob hot? Is it wet? Is it dry? And I want you to open the door. And the thing that I want you to see is a scene where desires have led to misfortune. Could be for yourself, could be for somebody else. What is the scene that makes you think of desire leading to misfortune? Who are the people that are there? What is the action that is unfolding? What is the consequences of those actions? And not in a judgment of right or wrong behavior, but in a judgment of looking at the evidence. And we'll sit there for one little bit longer. And I want you to think of this situation and then think of the first animal that comes to your mind now and remember that animal. Remember the animal. And we're going to move on into offering some energy medicine. Everybody naturally has this ability. And for the first thing we're going to do, I want you to think of somebody you know uh, who may have good intent, but whose desires might cause consequences for them. Think of this person. And what I want you to do is radiate compassion to them, and empathy and kindness. And to do that, I would like you to picture yourself sitting in the room as you are, and picture a radiant light coming out of your heart or your third eye or wherever you would like it to emit from, and sending these good energies and good intentions towards that person whose desires and passions might create conflict for them. And just radiate out that kindness. And I want you to notice how that feels physically, how it feels mentally, how it feels emotionally, and how it feels spiritually to radiate that kindness out to another human being when they're in the consequences of their own action, how beneficial empathy can be. Empathy is the ability to sit with somebody in their suffering when sympathy is looking down on somebody who's going through challenging times. Empathy takes a lot more courage. And because the universe doesn't like to have things unbalanced, you now need to receive some healing energy for these own situations where your own desires might create some of the conflict in your life. And I want you to focus on how it feels like, or how it feels to have compassion and empathy and kindness for your own humanity and how it feels to offer that to yourself without conditions, just because you deserve compassion, empathy, and understanding. And now that you've had the opportunity to offer that to yourself, I would like you to think of a situation where your own desires or interests have created conflict for you that you might not have thought of before, and offer yourself forgiveness for that, but also understand that it's not probably the best choice for you going forward, and that you can grow and adapt beyond those behaviors. And before we move on, I'd like you to think of how it would feel to make different choices next time in similar situations, to learn the lesson and to move forward. Sit there for one more second. Breathe in and out. As we kind of wrap up with some of these visualizations, we're going to be setting the tone for our week. And one of the things I would like you to do is to think of an intention that you would like to set for your week. And this intention is more so an attitude or an energy or a state of being or a feeling that you would like to carry with you throughout the week. This is a center point that you can return to. I would suggest trying to find one word that might represent that, but you can frame it however you'd like. I know for me this week, focus is my word, um, and what it would feel like to have that embodied and how it would benefit me. Think of your word, how it would feel, and play out a situation in your mind where using that would be advantageous to you. What problem or issue could you overcome when you embody that? Or maybe it's not even a problem or issue. What would that add to the quality of your life? Sit with that and savor the feelings, the thoughts, and the actions associated with that. The next thing that I would suggest you do is set an intention for a spiritual goal you would like to work towards this week, whether it's better meditation practice, astral projection. One thing that you think that if you had a better understanding of that skill set could help you, and what it would feel like to embody that, what it would feel like to act with those behaviors, and how it could benefit not only you, but other people around you. Because if a gift only benefits you, it's not that useful. What gift could you give back to your community that could also help you? And for the next minute or two, let's just sit in silence and kind of think of how we feel and think of where we're at and use this as a closing period of one week and the beginning of a new week with new possibilities. And we'll sit here with that for a minute or two. And as we bring this meditation to a close, the last thing I'd like you to do is just feel gratitude for yourself for showing up and taking the time to do this practice, for honoring yourself, for setting aside this time for self care, and for allowing yourself the space to relax, refresh, reflect, and revitalize. And take one more deep breath in through your nose. Do a big stretch if you'd like. Keep your eyes closed if they're still closed. If not, no worries. Rub your hands together. Get a little bit of warmth there. Place them on your eyes. And you can open your eyes now. Hopefully that worked well for everybody. And for everybody at home, since you can't participate in the discussion, I'm going to read something from one of my daily readings. I'm going to switch the camera real quick, and we'll close it out for the people at home with this one, or the people watching this later, I should say. This is from A Cherokee Feast of Days by Joyce Hiffler, and it is for February 7th. Always remember that certain circumstances are not ours to alter. We make the most of them and go on. We can only be examples, never controllers of other people's lives, other people's children, other people's circumstances. Some would have us believe we contribute to harsh events by doing nothing. But some of the best work, some of the deepest caring and doing is not physically evident in the beginning. Help of any kind must be wanted and recognized before it can do any good. Too much help where it is not appreciated can make even a good person helpless. We have to be wise in our giving, and particularly wise in what we withhold, because it may be what we withhold helps the most. We are contented to let things remain as the Great Spirit made them. And that little last quote was said by Chief Joseph in 1873. It's a beautiful little book. And thanks so much, everybody watching this. After it's been recorded, we're going to switch over to the discussion. If you'd like to attend the discussion sometime, come to one of our live events. There is a link in the description below. And I'll see y'all later. So